stylists and celebrity makeup artists, and they'll come and have some words for you. Please give them a big, big round of applause. I wanted to be formal with it, but Mr. E-Styles, thank you so much.
Thank you. How's it going, everyone? Welcome. Yes, let's give these handsome men a round of applause. Thank you all for being here. I knew we were going to talk, but I'm glad that we're all talking together. Yes, and I did request a little background music because I am that guy. So I want to liven up the mood a little bit before we go into my story, and then everybody stand up. Go ahead and stand up right now, and I want you to turn to the person next to you, and I want you to look at them and give them one compliment about them. Whether it's their smile, their outfit, tell them that they're beautiful, tell them that they smell good. Everybody needs it right now. Let's change up the mood a little bit. Yes, I see there's a dog over here. That dog smells good too. I love their animals. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, that's enough. All right, you guys can sit down. That's enough. I don't want to see anybody making out now.
Some of the ladies have all my products, so these compliments are running a little bit long, right?
All right, as you guys know, I was the key artist for our charity fashion show this past Thursday, so I'm a visual artist. I'm not really a motivational speaker, but I'm more of an instructor when it comes to my background. So I had to have some bullet points and some notes just because it's going to help me out. It's going to help you guys out as well. But I do want to thank Rajiv for creating his vision and moving forward with it, and including all of us, which is amazing. So we met at my salon, I do his hair, and we talked about it as just a conversation, and to see it come to life, I'm just really proud of you, brother. So congratulations to Rajiv. I also want to thank our team for the charity fashion show, our makeup and hair team, our cosmetic sponsors, our producer for the fashion show all the way from New York. I mean, if it wasn't for this team, that fashion show would not have ran as smoothly, and we did have some bumps, but it's okay. Everybody looks amazing. I see some models over here too. I see some students. So you guys did a great job. The fashion show was a hit. I'm so proud of us. Why am I here? Ultimately, I want to let you know that I'm here because I love to love. And that's just bottom line. I love to love. So, and I know that ultimately all of you guys are also here for the same reason, right? You guys love to love? Yes. Okay, I need a little reassurance. So when I ask you, why are you here? I need you to say at the top of your lungs, I love to love. So I'm going to ask you one more time, why are you here?
I love to love.
Thank you. Give yourself a round of applause. You're going to step forward to the right direction already, so that's great. I have 18 years of experience in the beauty industry. I also manage a salon in Glendale, which is where I met Rajiv, and I do education. And honestly, education is really the source of why I do what I do, why I am who I am. And one of the first topics that I want to discuss, and for those of you that are live on your devices, I apologize, but I want to talk about disconnecting. So that's my first topic. So give me a round of applause if you have a cell phone. Okay. Now, I want to see your cell phones. Everybody bust out your cell phones and hold them high up in the air. I'm gonna ask you to do something really scary. Yes, it's gonna happen. I need you to be present, so you're gonna shut them off and disconnect right now. I promise we're gonna revisit this and it's gonna make a lot of sense once I come back to it, so just be patient with me, bear with me. Shut it off, thank you. I value your time and I expect the same respect in return, right? So shut the phones off, and I promise it's going to make sense. I'm going to share a story with you. This is a story about a young girl born in Mexico, and she's number 4 out of her 12 siblings. She is kind of like the runt of the pack, so she takes a lot of abuse from her siblings, and her father is an alcoholic, raging alcoholic, who beats her violently, and so bad to the point that she goes into epileptic shocks and has convulsions sometimes. And at such a young age, it caused a lot of trauma and a lot of damage to her brain that carried depression throughout the entirety of her life, pretty much. So after her parents died, both her parents were dead by the time she was 11. She moved to, well, they migrated illegally to the United States of America, and her siblings raised her, pretty much. She started going to school and started to learn to speak English, and she was continued to get bullied, and she was continued to, not really feel confident. She decided to join a religious spiritual group where she met a young man, and this young man started to write her poetry. So he would write her, like very Romeo and Juliet, like nice poetry, and she would return the favor and actually write him poetry, but even better. She would actually use calligraphy pens and markers and colored pencils and draw silhouettes of hearts and roses, and they just fell in love. So they got married, they had their first son, and so she brought out her crayons, she brought out her markers and her calligraphy pens, and her son created art together. She would also start to do her makeup in front of her son, and she would kind of make herself look like the posters hanging on her walls. And if you haven't guessed it, yes, I'm talking about my mother. And so my mother still suffers from chronic depression, and about a year ago we almost lost her for just lack of caring for herself, lack of eating, lack of hydrating. And she is better now. We have a great program. My father is officially her caretaker, so I'm really grateful for that. So everything that I do, just like Rajiv, everything that a lot of us men do, we dedicate to our mothers. All the decisions that I make in my career, all the decisions that I make in my personal life, it's for my mom and for her health. I too am a product of depression, and during my teens, growing up in East LA, Boyle Heights, being in the closet, being gay, it was really hard. And also discovering that my mother was an alcoholic after I came out of the closet, it was just too much. So at one point, I almost decided, maybe I shouldn't be alive. Maybe I'm causing the drama here, So after being checked into 5150 in psych ward, I decided that was not the life for me. And I decided to finish high school, and I went to fashion school, and I went to beauty school, and I started my career in the beauty industry, which saved my life. It's been 18 years in the game, and I recently had a lot of those emotions resonate with me. And that's because I was on a new reality television show called The American Beauty Star, which actually comes out next Thursday on Lifetime. And when you're put under that pressure, you guys, oh man, I have a whole new respect for people that are on television now, let me tell you. I'm used to doing people behind the camera like Rajiv and making them feel good and pretty in front of the camera, but this time around, I had to be in front of the camera and do makeup and hair and be judged in front of mentors that I have looked up to my entire career. It was a lot of pressure. So a lot of those emotions really came back from my adolescence, and I realized that everyone suffers through depression sometimes. It doesn't have to be chronic, it doesn't have to be really dramatic. It can be like a minor, mild depression that, a pill does not take away. So my point is, we have to communicate. We have to see those signs, and we have to ask for help when we need help. And I almost had to come out of the closet again when my mother almost died, last year, and ask for help when she was going through the chronic depression. I think it's about communication, and it's about making sure that you are accepting of one another and you're not judging. So that also kind of brings up a lot of light into where we're at with social media. So that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, just how you balance that with your career. And I want you to understand that social media does not make you who you are. Although we rely on it to run our businesses, and we rely on it to have a platform, and it's great if you use your voice, but it's a hyper-realism that does not exist. Do you guys understand that? So it does not exist. That's not really who you are or what makes you who you are. I have a love-hate relationship with it, to be honest with you. But with that said, I want to also make sure that you guys are all present. So that's why I asked you to put your phones away, but now you can turn them back on. I'm going to have you turn them back on, and I have a little job for you. So I want you to send a text to somebody right now that you haven't talked to for a while, that needs to hear from you that you love them, and that's also going to connect you and make you be present with that person. So go ahead and bring your phones out right now. Text whoever it is. You already know who it is. They're in your head right now. You already know who that person is. So go ahead and give that person a text right now. Tell them that you love them, and that you're going to give them a call later, and that you'll follow up with them and explain why. So that's what we need to do. We need to celebrate each other. We need to accept each other for our differences. We need to share light. We need to share positivity. There's way too much darkness happening out in our world that we have to focus on the light, you know? So imagine if all of us did that at least one time in our day, checked in with that person, gave them the love that they need. How much of a difference, how much light are we going to share with one another? You know what I mean? United. So, that's my spiel. Thank you.